Hello, and welcome to part 2 of my little build an app with AI series for non-developers. In this video, we're actually going to build the app. We're not going to implement all the features just yet, but we're going to build the app. We're going to set up SvelteKit, which is my JavaScript framework of choice at the moment. We're going to install Tailwind and DaisyUI, which are going to help with the styling. This is going to be CSS frameworks. And then we're going to set up the backend, or more specifically, the backend as a service using Google Firebase, absolutely free. And I'll be using Firestore, which is their database where we'll save user data, etc., as well as their auth for logging in and stuff like that. Before we get started, two things. Number one, important reminder, I'm not a developer. There are things I do in this video and in all my videos that could be done way better, probably. This isn't a video for developers. This is a video for non-developers who want to get things up and running very quickly and easy, and we keep things simple, copy and paste sort of stuff. Just know that I'm not a developer. You should go watch videos from developers if you want to be a developer. Just letting you know. Also, Pete cannot be held liable for anything you do as a result of watching this. No idea what that would be, but don't blame me when your stuff goes wrong. That's all. Okay, prerequisites. You need to have Node installed on your computer. So you can go to nodejs.org, download this, follow the instructions. It's actually really easy. And you will also need npm, which is a package manager. You can actually just Google install npm. And I do not use a Node version manager and nvm myself to do this. I probably would if I did it from scratch, but I've already installed Node on my system and npm, and so I don't need to do it again. So hopefully you should be fine. Follow these instructions. If you need help here, go watch other videos on YouTube. There's a million of them out there, and I don't think you need me for that. But just know, you only have to do this once, and then you're done, right? You can code apps for the rest of your life or whatever. So prerequisites, you will need Node installed on your computer. And that's it, let's get started. So first, if you want to, you can create a folder somewhere on your computer for coding projects. In fact, that's literally what mine is named, coding projects. You don't have to do that, but I wouldn't suggest saving it in your downloads folder or your documents or whatever, PC or Mac or whatever. I already have a folder on my machine called coding projects. So there you go. So we're going to open up a terminal. For Mac, that's on a terminal. I can't actually remember what it's called on Windows. You can Google that. And I'm going to navigate to that folder, coding projects, my parent folder. So I'm going to say cd, current directory, and I'll start typing coding projects. I'm actually just going to hit tab, and it'll just pop right up. cd, I'll hit enter, and now it says coding projects right here. I am in my coding projects folder. And you can also press ls and enter. That'll list out all of the folders and files in that thing. You can press clear, enter to delete that. All right, so now I'm in the coding folders, which is where I want my project to go. I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna copy this text right here. Put that in there. npm create svelte at latest my app. Now I'm gonna rename my app because that's not what it's called. I'm gonna call this topicalmap.ai with dashes in there. I'm gonna hit enter. Okay, it needs to install the following packages, create Svelte. I'm gonna hit Y. Okay, to proceed, yes. Okay, now it's gonna ask you a few questions here. I recommend just doing this skeleton project. The demo app just has too much stuff for me. You can do that if you really want to and you wanna play around with that. I just do skeleton project. I select that with the arrows and hit enter. Add type checking. I highly recommend if you're going to do multiple projects to get into type checking, TypeScript. I'm not for the sake of this video, but it's worthwhile. It's worth learning if you want to become a developer, especially. I'm going to click no. This doesn't matter as much at all. So now we're actually done. We have set up the SvelteKit app. A few additional things we need to do, and you can actually do it right here in the terminal. It says next steps, this, and this. We're actually not going to do that. I'm going to open up VS Code, which I thought I had open. I do. And I'm going to open that folder that I just created. So it's in coding projects, and then what did I call it? Topicalmap.ai. I click that and just hit open. All right. So all of our files, of course, will show right here in this window, but you can also open a terminal window, just what I had open a second ago. Basically this, you can actually open right here in VS Code. So I'm gonna hit New Terminal. There we go. And it's automatically in my topicalmap.ai folder. This is the root folder. Like, this is not the root folder. Static is not the root folder, but the root folder, topicalmap.ai, is where I want to be. Topicalmap.ai. And this is what this does. CD topicalmap.ai, it does the same thing. So with that said, now we are going to npm install. Package manager, npm install and hit enter. This will take maybe like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And you can see it add in a couple of stuff up here. Go back to my notes. There we go. npm install, navigate to the new project directory, then run npm install. And now you should be able to run this. And this is actually the text. You could change this if you want. You can go Google how to do that. This is just what I use to spin up a local instance here. I'm gonna hit npm run dev. And now if I navigate to this web site right here, http localhost 5173 in my browser. Let's open up a new tab and go there. There we go. There's my app. It's not live on the internet anywhere. It's not at a domain name per se. This is just my local host. It's a running node here and everything works. The link will navigate me off that page. Okay. By the way, shortcut. If you are live here, if your thing is up and running, two things. Number one, you can actually just hit O, or maybe O enter, and that will open it up so you don't have to like type this out every time. And Control C on Mac, and I'm not sure what that is on Windows, you'll have to play around with it, will exit. You can see I went back out to the terminal, the command line here. I can clear that, clear enter, and do that again, npm run dev, and then Control C on Mac. I don't know what it is on Windows, it's Option or Control or something, to exit out. And now if I'm exited out like this, by the way, this won't actually load. I'll hit refresh and nothing happens here. All right, moving on. That's good. So now let's install two things, Tailwind and DaisyUI. You don't have to do these, but they make styling and CSS so much easier and faster. So you can view the Tailwind docs here. And this is specifically with SvelteKit, the link I include. And we're just gonna run these. So we've already done this, we already have the project. So install Tailwind CSS. I'm actually just gonna copy this, go back to my terminal, making sure that I'm in that root folder again right here, and I'm just gonna press enter. It's gonna do one line at a time. It's gonna install Tailwind, post CSS, and then auto prefixer, and then it automatically populated npx, Tailwind, init, that sort of stuff. I'll hit enter again, and now that step is done. And this should be the same as my notes. Yep. All right, I usually skip step 3 from the docs, which is about post CSS. Enable use of post CSS. I actually did this for my main project. I went back and did it. So let's actually just do it. Svelte config file will add this line right here. I'm going to copy that, come over here to the Svelte config file and add that to the top. Save that. And then let's actually go back here. Under config, in the config object right here, we're going to add this line, preprocess, feat preprocess. Grab that and come back. And under config, I will need a comma right here because there are going to be multiple things in this object now. There we go, comma, and then preprocess config. I can delete that extra line, hit save, and now that step is done. Okay, next up, we are going to tailwind.config file. We're going to find that. Why am I going over there? There we go, tailwind.config file, grab that. And let's put in the content line that they have highlighted here. I'm going to copy that. It should go right there. There we go. And then save that file. Now that's done. Oh, actually, I should have just put it over this, shouldn't I? Right? Don't need two contents. Content, make sure there's a comma after that so this works. And hit save. And now I'm good. All right. Next up, we're going to locate, or actually we have to create a new file here, app.css. Should be in my notes as well. We're going to create app.css in the source folder, src. So let's actually just create that first. We are in the source folder is right here. I'm going to right click, new file, app.css. Put that in here. And I gotta copy and paste this in there. At Tailwind base, at Tailwind components, utilities, and save that file. Saved. So again, that was the src folder, the source folder, app.css, and then I pasted in those 3 lines right there. So let me close that and go back to my notes. Okay, now we need to create another file, source routes plus layout.svelte file. And then we're going to make sure it's just importing this app.css that we just created in that file. So let's go back here. Routes. We already have the page.svelte. Now we need to add I'm going to go SvelteKit files, although you could do new file and just type it out. SvelteKit files, and then the layout.svelte is what we want. You can enter the path name. I'm just going to hit enter right there with that little slash, and now it's in the routes folder. And we shall import this in the script. So I'll come up here, I'll do that. I'm actually going to comment this out. It's command slash is the shortcut, but you can also just type out these 2 lines just to kind of like comment this out for now, because we don't need it. It's not going to give us an error or anything, but I'll just do that. So now in our script, we have the app.css thing. Yep. All right. That slot should already be there. I don't think it matters, actually. I'm going to run this, npm run dev. And then enter. Okay, I do need that slot. I wonder what. You will need the slot. The slot just basically means everything, your entire app. Let's do slots. And then a little, yeah. Okay. Wait, why are import those things? There we go. Save. And yeah. Okay, now we're good. I'll explain slot at a later time. Doesn't matter. And that we're good. We're good to go. So now we can use Tailwind in our things here. Let's open up that file, page.svelte. And for this P, let's do class and then text dash primary. And save that. And it's not working. It's interesting. I don't know why. Is it just not working, period? Text to XL. How about that? Oh, it is working, the text primary. Oh, it must be a theme related thing. I don't have Daisy installed yet, so that's probably why. We'll see if this works in a minute. There we go. That must be a Daisy thing. Speaking of which, let's install Daisy. So same thing. You can follow the instructions right here. Super easy. You will need Node and Tailwind, which we already have. I'm gonna copy this. Go back to my terminal, make sure I'm in that root folder right here. I gotta exit out because I'm currently live in there. Paste that in, and that's good. What's next? Then add DaisyUI to your Tailwind config file. I'm going to copy this plugins line. I'm gonna go back to my Tailwind config file right here. And then my plugins, this line is blank. Let's put that in there. Plugins, require, and I could type it in, but there we go. Require DaisyUI. And I think that's it, right? Yeah, that's it. Oh, let's go ahead and change themes. Let's get a DaisyUI theme. You have to do this. I'm actually going to copy this. DaisyUI, that one right there. And let's go back to my thing. There you go. Theme. Wait, what did I just copy? Forgive me. DaisyUI. I think I add this at the bottom after plugins. We'll do that. DaisyUI, and then I got some themes. Let's choose a theme really quick from the DaisyUI site. I already had it open. Let's go with components, themes. Let's just choose one. Let's go with a light colored theme for now. Wireframe Fantasy. Let's try Lemonade. It seems kind of fun. Lemonade. So I'm actually just going to type that out here. Instead of this one, we'll do Lemonade, and I'll save this, and we'll delete. Delete. Okay, Lemonade. And then in order to implement this, if I go now, it's not gonna be anything here. Actually, nothing's running. npm run dev. There we go. Okay. Oh. Is it working already? By default? That's kind of weird. Lemonade. Anyways, I need to go to at.html and up here do data theme and then whatever the theme name is. So Lemonade, and then save that. and that should be working or whatever. That's interesting. I'm not actually sure why it was working before that. Did I miss something? And here I'm actually going to go text primary, and we'll see. Okay, yep. So that's the primary color, green. All right, so that is done. It just went through that. Now let's do setup Firebase. Okay, now we are going to go back to the browser. We're going to open up Firebase. You can, should just be, yeah, firebase.google.com. There you go. I'm actually going to go to my console, although yours might not say this. You might have to just do get started or whatnot. It's going to list out my projects right here. First of all, we're going to create a new project, and let's do topicalmap.ai project name. topicalmap.ai. Actually, let's just do, I'm afraid, topicalmap.ai, all lowercase. I don't know if it needs to be that way or not. Continue. I am going to do Google Analytics. It's actually easier. I think I wrote this down. It's easier to just comment out the Google Analytics code if you don't want to set it up right away than it is to come back and do it later. So I recommend just leaving Google Analytics on, hit continue, select my Pete Sites, my Google Analytics account, automatically create a new property. That's fine. Hit create project. This will take a minute or two. While that fires up, let's see here. Google Analytics, give it a nickname. Okay, here we go. It's going to walk us through installation really quick. Once your project is created, navigate to the web option for installing it and grab the code. Your Firebase project is ready. Hit continue. Here we go. Right here. You can also, I believe, view this from settings, but this is what we're looking for, web. If you were doing a mobile app, you would use these other codes right here. I'm going to get web and register. So I'm going to do my web app. Let's do topical map AI. I'm not going to do Firebase hosting. Register app. And then it's going to give me the code. This should be okay. Or I have to install Firebase first, don't I? Yes. Is that in my notes? Oh, I think it's right here. Yeah. npm I Firebase or npm install Firebase. Same thing. So let's grab that. Go back to here. Let's exit out of my local instance here. npm install Firebase. This will take a hot minute. That looks like it's good. And then we are going to copy this code. And I think I have this in the directions. In the lib folder, create a new file, firebase.js, and put that code in there. And that's it for now. So let's go back. Sorry, forgive me. In the lib folder, which is index.js, I'll add a new file, firebase.js, and I will paste this in there and save it. There we go. And just a heads up, a few things this is doing now. We're going to change a little bit of this, but I don't want to do the Google Analytics step of this yet. So I'm actually just going to comment this out by adding the two slashes right here and get analytics. Same thing. Go back up here and just comment that out for now, because I know I'm not going to bother with this setup for the time being. We'll just leave it like that. All right. Head to the terminal, npm, Okay, we already did that. Next up, we are going to set up the Firebase apps that I'm going to use for now, which are just two.
I don't have an answer for that.
Oh, I don't know why. My smart home device just started listening to me. So let's set up auth and Firestore, our database. Under auth, we are going to, or under authentication in the console, we're going to close this for now, continue to console. And over here, we're going to do authentication. And I'm actually going to go ahead and click Firestore down here. This just shows up in the shortcuts, Firestore database. There we go. So under auth, we are going to go to, I thought there was a get started here. Oh, there's a get started. Get started. Authentication. I am just going to do a Google login for the time being, although email and password is obviously a great place to start as well. I'm going to do Google. What am I doing? Okay, just got to enable this. Public facing name for project. We'll do topicalmap.ai. Support email. I'll choose whatever email's attached to my Google thing for now. And WebSDK. I don't think I need to change any of this for right now. And we just hit save. That should be fine. Enable whatever sign-in method you want. Okay, we did that. So now auth is going to be enabled. All right, Google is enabled. Okay, let's go ahead and enable database. So under Firestore, create a database, set a name and location. Let's do database and create database. Okay, set a name, location, and then, oh yeah, so before you actually launch, you're gonna wanna come back and change some of the security rules. I'm gonna do this right here. In the Firestore main page, go to rules, hit change false to true. At the moment, you can't actually save anything to your database. Choose my location here. United States is where I'm located, so we'll do that. I'm gonna start in production mode just because, I don't know, it makes sense with this video. And this right here, I'm gonna change to true in just a second. You can't actually edit this right here. I highly recommend, well, actually, I think it's probably fine to start in production mode, but this little security rule right here, I'm gonna hit create and I'll show you where to find this. It's very important that you go back and edit this later. It's not gonna be in this video. You are gonna wanna go to YouTube. There are plenty of videos about this where it'll give you some of the code for the rules. I'm gonna go to rules right here. And you click on database, rules, and allow read and write if true. It's not actually what you want to do for live production apps, but for our purposes right here, we're just going to set that as true. And again, I have that right here. This is a very lax rule where pretty much anybody could read and write to any user, and you don't want that. So next up, we're going to add some code. We're going to import this stuff to the firebase.js file that we created a minute ago, which is still open right here. So the import's at the top. I'm actually going to copy this. Let's go right here. I'm going to delete this for now. These comments. I'll leave the Google Analytics thing right there. I will delete this. Come here. Paste that in. All right. So what I'm doing here is importing auth. This is auth stuff and database stuff. Again, we'll use these actually down below a little bit, such as right here. Initialize them. We're going to do this. Yep. Just come down here. Export const db and then auth, db and auth. And it's basically just like setting up Firestore and setting up auth. And we're going to import these into our app and other places to be able to save stuff to that database, to be able to sign users in, to sign them out, and that sort of stuff. This is kind of just like a setup step right here. I'm going to save this file, and then that's it. But this is all client-side stuff, and we would like to do, I'm going to implement cookies in our app, server-side authentication. So we're going to set up the admin SDK. That was the client-side SDK. This is the admin SDK. Super easy. We're going to copy this again, install this in the terminal. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Come down here. I'm going to clear, install Firebase admin, hit enter. It's going to set that up. And we're good there. Next up, in the console in our browser, we're going to navigate to project settings and then the service accounts tab. So let's go our project settings. It's going to be this gear icon, project settings, and then service accounts. There we go. And I'm going to generate a new private key. Yours is going to be different than mine, of course. This is Node.js that we're working with right here. Generate a new private key, and I'm just going to save this to my computer somewhere temporarily. I'm just going to save this file to my downloads folder for right now, and I'm going to rename it in a minute. And then I'm going to upload this to the root of your project, and I'm actually going to rename it service-account.json. I'm just going to copy this right here, upload that file to my root. So I mean, like, I'm going to drag it literally like right here, not inside some subfolder. So let me grab that file, put it in here, and I'm actually going to rename this to that service-account/JSON. Okay, At this point, we have to create a .env file. .env. I don't know. Some people say that weird. Oh, actually, wait. Before we do that, in the get ignore file, we'll add that service account.json. So get ignore. When we upload things to Git, when we save things in Git and upload to GitHub, it will not push that file right there. It's going to ignore that. So we'll save that in the .getignore file. Now the env.env. All right. You can think of this like private variables, by the way. We're going to add 2, or no, 3. We're going to add 3 here. All right. And we're going to fill these in from that service accounts.json file. So I am going to find my email, client email. I'm going to grab that and put it in here, client email, hit save. Project ID, I'm going to hit this. There's my project ID. Okay, and then the private key, which is going to be super long, by the way. It needs to be everything between the quotation marks. This will be like a really, 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 really long key right here. I'll go all the way to the quotation marks. There'll be some /ns in there. You'll need all those in here. And I'm going to paste it in there, hit save, and I'm good to go. So now I have like my 3 private little variables here. Okay, now we are going to create the server.js file. This is going to be in the lib directory, I believe. Yep. New folder in the lib directory called server. So lib, and we're going to add a new folder. I'm just going to call this server. And then inside, we're going to add server.js. Server.js. All right, now we're going to import getAuth and getFirestore from the Firebase stuff, as well as the variables that we just created that are going to be in the env file. And then we're going to actually do a try catch block here that is going to initialize that. So I'm actually just going to copy this. Let's get back on here, hit copy, hit paste, and we should be good to go. There are some things in here which are kind of jumping ahead, like this already exists message right here maybe. I think we're actually good. I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. We'll test this out when we actually implement the auth button in another video, but there we go. Oh, that's right. Just so you know, these things that we're importing and exporting here, admin.db and admin.auth, they can only be used in server-side files like server.js, page.server.js. You'll see when I do this in a future video, but just so you know, if you try to use these in a page.svelte, like if I can't import them here and use them in this homepage, page.svelte, they don't work there, only on server-side files. Okay, so that's it for this video. And the next video, I don't actually remember what we're doing. Oh yeah, we're setting up Git and GitHub. It'll be a very, very short video. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and deploy the app. And then after that, we're gonna like code in the navigation bar. We're gonna set up Google Auth and signing out, and we're gonna implement a simple Stripe payment system SDK using Stripe checkout. So we'll see you in that video. Adios.